been a tough year for the auto industry. Global sales have slipped 5% and the once hot China market is in decline. Profits have largely stalled. Autonomous vehicles, the industry's shiniest object, need more dollars and years to go from dream to reality. It is no surprise after executives from Yokohama to Wolfsburg to Detroit have announced nearly 75,000 layoffs in bits and pieces over the past year. One top auto executive told me, "There is no standing still in the car business. You're either growing or cutting." This downsizing is different. It isn't driven by market share wars or oil shocks or economic crises, but the belief that electric cars will soon boom. Stop me if you've heard this before. Auto executives say they really mean it is the time, though pointing the technological advantages, looming regulation and pent-up demand. But as of 2019, electric vehicles cost more than their gasoline counterparts, and cumbersome to charge and sell fewer in the US than the Toyota Camry. For every 8 pickups sold in America, there's one pure plug-in vehicle sold. Many so-called electrics are conventional engine as well as a battery. Steel companies are preparing for the electric age by cutting workers. This is partly to save money needed for development, but it is primarily to prepare for a vehicle design and production process that will be, as they say in Silicon Valley, a satellite. EVs are less complex than gasoline or diesel rivals, requiring EVs are less complex than gasoline or diesel rivals, requiring fewer parts, people and suppliers. Ford Motor Company, which introduced an electric vehicle last month, believes 30% fewer hours of labor and 50% less factory space will be needed for battery cars. Executives at Mercedes-Benz, Audi AG, BMW AG and Nissan Motor Company are saying similar things at public events. Let's be honest, even the smartest auto executive doesn't have a clue when the EV revolution will happen. It could be 2025 or it could be 2050. Today, the customers' appreciation for big trucks and SUVs running on cheap gasoline has ruled the market. The roar of an engine and the convenience of a gas station have won out over regulations and environmentalists telling us the world will melt if we don't go electric. The question of the automotive executives, if you fire the people who know how to make what people want to buy, what are you left with? Only people who make stuff no one wants to buy. This is the kind of problem all CEOs have to confront at one point or another. Just as no one is safe from disruption, no one has a crystal ball. Think about oil companies considering spilling big bucks on the wind business, or food production monitoring the popularity of Beyond Meat Incorporated, or Impossible Food Incorporated and shifting gobs of the resources to creating meatless burgers and wings, or big box retailers wondering if those razor-thin margins should be spent speeding up stores and speeding up e-commerce. Business schools are full of case students where this calculation got royally screwed up. Everyone's heard about how Xerox Corp's Silicon Valley skunk works invented computer mouses, laser printers, and the technology behind graphic icons in the 1970s, and then let others, including Steve Jobs, commercialize these gadgets. Blockbuster Incorporated fumbled its chance to dive into streaming videos by passing on buying Netflix Incorporated. Nokia created smartphones and tablets in in the 1990s, but figured no one wanted to access email or music on a telephone. We can learn as much from those who arrived too early at the party, though those who arrived too late. Google Glass, Solyndra Incorporated, solar panels, and the Segway scooters are concrete examples of decent and costly ideas that came at the wrong time. Today's biggest bet on the robot field factory, a cannabis farm on streaming video service can lead to destruction if that good idea is premature, half-baked, or styled by regulation. Howard Willett, chief executive of tobacco giant Altria Group Incorporated, said in October that the $4.5 billion write-down on the 12.8 billion investment it made in e-cigarette make Juul Labs Incorporated last year can be chalked up to not thinking through regulation pitfalls. We didn't anticipate this dramatic change in the e-vapor category, he said. That was about 6 months after telling the journal e-vapor is going to grow rapidly. In retailing, Walmart Incorporated inked a $16 billion deal to buy Flipkart Group, India's biggest e-commerce group, which is unprofitable, and many of us appreciate CEO Doug McMillan's aggressive bid to grow in an emerging market where shopping by smartphones is the norm. That appears to be backfiring, however, as India abruptly changed regulations in a way that benefits local companies. The best time to push all the chips across the table on a company changing bet is when you've got a product or service people can live without, or if a competitor beats you to it. Apple Incorporated iPhone won our buys because it was awesome to use. Amazon.com Incorporated faces few market barriers because it makes our lives easier. Tesla Incorporated Model 3S sell out becomes their executive sexy and fast. Hype for electric cars persists even as the carmakers lose money on them. For instance, amid a 4 gallon gasoline earlier in the decade, General Motors Company predicted it would have 500,000 electric cars on the road by 2017. It missed badly. That came after Nissan undershot its target on selling 1 million EVs by 2016.